feel it when it's beating steady. It's steady thumping while you breathing heavy. That power muscle keeps that blood flowing. He keeps it going, so we'll get to know him. The son of the father, so many never get to know. Or accept the only reason he let his blood flow. So many deceptions that we can't seem to understand, but the truth is coming because of Yahweh's master plan. The heartbeat of Yah was there in the beginning, the Alpha, Omega. Before we started sinning, he knew us, he formed us, he made us in his image. He synced his heartbeat to ours, and that's why we're still living. The struggle of this life has led us all astray like Cain. But with the choice to serve ourselves, who else can we blame? The two greatest laws are love for God and love for man. But by choosing self over both, we defy his commands. He's loving, he's patient, not willing we should suffer. Repentance, confession, in the name of our big brother. Protection, salvation is all the Father offers. Confusion and damnation is what's reserved for the scoffers. He wants a relationship with you, just let him near. Listen closely to this track, you hear him in your ear. The first beat you feel is an echo coming from his throne. The second one is the proof you're not living life alone. Just take that breath so that you can receive. His Ruach is dripping, so just believe. That love of Yah will put you in the zone. So get that fire shut up in your bones. God's all the results of sins, even till today. That's why he made the plan of salvation to make a way. Emptied all of heaven in one eternal sacrifice, just so that he could spend time with us in paradise. He struggled and he strived to get human attention, even repented himself of his wayward invention. Washed the world of iniquity cause of satanic heists. Sent prophets, warnings, and miracles, and even sent us Christ. His heart stays pumping grace and mercy to the hearts of the souls that are caught up in this controversy. Heeding doctrines of devils and wandering after beasts, trying to get them a glimpse of light before they are deceased. We don't know how much we mean to him, we don't recognize how soon he's coming back to get us when he parts the skies. Take the time to see truth and learn what we don't really know. He'll make a way out of no way by letting his blood flow. We don't know how much we mean to him, we don't recognize how soon he's coming back to get us when he parts the skies. Take the time to see truth and learn what we don't really know. He'll make a way out of no way by letting his blood flow.
Shalom, shalom all. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk 101, Devil Exposed, here on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. Your host in the building, and y'all know the drill. You know what we do here on a week-to-week basis. We run through the past week's revelations, conversations, prayers, readings, anything that we have had to do with the Most High, we discuss it very openly, very honestly. Everything that we have seen and heard. Some of it may be hard to understand or hard to take in, but the type of information that we bring here usually is for a specific group of people, those who are seeking truth, those who have their eyes and ears open to the ways of the world and have their hearts and minds open to the voice of the Most High, most importantly. Usually kick off the show with prayer requests. Say a word of prayer, we testify, and we get right in it. So say a word of prayer to yourself, asking for the indwelling of the Ruach so you can be on the same level of understanding that we're going to be on when we invite him into this studio as well. These are the last few Sundays. We only got 2 more shows left here at the studio, but we'll be sure to keep the ministry going and let those who are particularly interested in the type of information we bring, we'll be sure to let that audience know. But yeah, aside from that, keep us in prayer, and we're going to do it again this Sunday. How you feeling today, bro?
All right, blessed to be in here, but tired. Don't really get a lot of sleep here lately, but seem to have a whole bunch running through my head as usual.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to thank you, the viewers, for your prayers, for my man Juice. I know you we mentioned it last Sunday, but the Most High saw fit to allow him to close his eyes Tuesday. But there's no hard feelings towards the Most High. You know, he was even though a miracle was being prayed for. And I think we need to sometimes be mindful of what we ask the Most High for and how we expect Him to answer us. You know, because we're supposed to pray according to His will, not according to what we want or what we think His will should be. And if you knew the brother, his name was Derek Vaughn. You know, I didn't know that until he got in the hospital. We've always known him as Juice, but brother had a hard life, rough life, seen a lot, been through a lot, you know. And this may be the only way that he could ever got some peace, you know, or rest. Because I watched the torture, the torment, the demons from his drug of choice were relentless. They showed no mercy. When they got him, they had him. And you could see where he was just, have you ever seen a movie and a person is a lunatic, you know, or a maniac, and they just seem to be out their mind? That's not how Slim was all the time. You know what I'm saying? Had some good conversation. The challenging brother wasn't no dummy. But when that thing got him, it had him. And, you know, the Most High saw fit. He allowed us to get down there, myself and my brothers, Michi and Eve. We went down there, John. We prayed with him, you know, talked to him. He looked up at us, you know, and I was of a mind, in my limited understanding of what was going on, that, you know, Slim was all right. But what they said was, you know, the miracle was, because everybody was expecting him to stop breathing when they took him off the ventilator.
Yeah.
They say he was brain dead, he wasn't breathing on his own. And even the doctors expected him to die within minutes of being taken away, but he lived. I mean, they took him off Friday, like around 5-something. We went down there Saturday. He passed Tuesday morning, early Tuesday morning. But I believe between the 3 prayers that were prayed, and, you know, hands being laid on the brother, whatever issues he had, or whatever the Most High needed to clear up that hadn't been cleared up to that point, all that was rectified in that 20 minutes we was in there. So, you know, especially as Michi was praying, everything Michi said, he was just like, He wasn't talking, but he was responding with like a grunt. So, I mean, I didn't feel bad, and I kind of had a feel. I even got up and prayed for him Tuesday morning, but it felt almost like it was for no reason. He was already gone. I didn't know that, but it kind of felt like that. I didn't even finish petitioning the Most High on his behalf. It wasn't like, oh man, I don't feel like praying. It was just like it was like a known. It was just understanding that, you know. And then Michi texted me, was like, yeah, he passed this morning. You know, I was already anticipating that and wasn't beefing. You know, his family seems a little, I don't know. Keep his family in prayer. You know, that's my prayer request. You know, just thanking y'all for y'all prayers. Those who did pray for my man. You know, the Most High heard him, and I believe he got his soul right before he closed his eyes, and that's all that really mattered. You know, as long as we make it, I believe we're gonna see the brother again. You know, keep myself in prayer. That's a /testimony/prayer request. You know, me and my mental and physical health, and my man Juice and his family. You know, with the regular prayer requests that we normally present.
That's a bet. I don't think any of us can ever fully understand the weight of the prayers that we pray on behalf of other people. And I understand it, because usually when we pray for other folk, you know, few times or rarely we may hear something. We may hear the Most High speak to us like instantly, but usually it's silence after that. And after, you know, I've prayed for other people in the past, I've had a feeling inside myself, that's the best thing I can do for them. I can't go to them and give them money, or maybe, you know, if there's a need that I can provide that they need at that time, then of course I can provide that. But if it's beyond like a physical or tangible need and it's something that only the Most High can do, and I beseech Him on their behalf, that's a very good and great thing, man. Because I go back to the basic elements of prayer, man. In order to be praying to the Most High, you gotta believe that He's there and that He hear you, or else you ain't gonna be praying. And then to be praying with sincerity means you really think He believes, or really know that He believes, not think. You know that He hears you. And you know that in His good time, He's going to make the decision that is best, whether it be instant or, you know, delayed. But the prayer has been registered, man, and that's good collateral in the kingdom all the time. So I truly believe that, man. Them prayers that y'all brothers prayed, especially after he was taken off of a machine and he lingered around for like 3.5, 4 days. Ain't nothing short of miraculous.
He was
man.
looking. You know, and the thing about it is, my mom, when I told Jeanette, she was like, then the nurse said, I asked her, is he on any type of medication? Because he looked drugged. Like, yeah, he got no medication. I can't remember exactly what she said he was on. But his eyes was open. He was looking. He was just looking down at the side. He'd look up. You know, his eyes was open. It wasn't like he was just, like, out of it. But, you know, Jeanette's daughter, Jalen, is in the medical field. And she was like, that comfort care is the term they use. They said it was called palliative care, meaning they're basically doing the bare minimum, just keeping him comfortable until, if in the event, he passes away. Made me think about my uncle, who was, and that's not hospice, because it's not a guarantee that you're going to go. You know what I'm saying? But in the event that you do recover, then you're in a facility where you can actually receive some aid, but at the same time, they're not necessarily doing anything for you.
Right.
And my uncle, before he passed, he was alive, but his eyes was closed. He was here. I touched his arm. He was like, it was like every time you touched him, it hurt. I can't remember exact congestive heart failure, maybe what he had. But you know, I went to touch him, and he was like his skin was burning, even the slightest touch. But he was alive.
Yeah.
But he was dying. It was understood he only had a little bit of time left. And I think even after that time, he might have passed the next day after we got a chance to go down there and see him. Maybe 2 days later, he passed. But when she said that, I thought to myself, I was like, now here I am. Now I'm not gonna be beefing if the brother passed. I was of my mind like, man, we about to see a miracle. You know, my man's still here. He proved the doctors wrong the whole time. Y'all just preserved him to preserve him. You know what I'm saying? He kept him around to set him aside for himself. And that's what I believe them prayers did. Amongst the prayers of others, it wasn't just specifically us, but the act of going down there, and especially with everything that transpired that day, you know, that's going to be another whole bit of nonsense I got to deal with as a result of trying to make a move, you know, or making a move that the Most High impressed me to make. The enemy had a roadblock there, bam, in that little BMW. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even see this little, but in the whole time, you know, he tell his insurance company he injured.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he needs some therapy. And I was like, what? I said, because look, I told him, I called my insurance company straight up, and I was like, look, man, I hit this dude. You know, I'm wrong. I got full coverage. You know what I'm saying? I told him my insurance company take care of it. He was like, okay, well, I appreciate you feeling like you were at fault, but what happened? I said, well, I looked in my mirror, and I didn't see anything. I saw nothing in front of me, nothing behind me, so I got over. She said, okay, did he try to get out your way? I said, I don't know. I didn't see him. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to investigate it because if he showed any type of negligence where he could have avoided it and he didn't, then we're not going to pay anything. I was like, well.
They know their ways. They
like,
know it, yeah.
But then they called me again. I was like, yeah, the guy's talking about he was injured. I was like, Slim, he climbed across his seat because he couldn't get out his driver's side. He climbed across and jumped out his car. Came around, walked, took a picture of my tag. I gave my ID and my insurance information. I'm like, bro, I ain't tripping. Right. You know what I'm saying? I know I got insurance. I'm good. But he shot a BS shot, so he might end up coming out of pocket with all of that. Hey, you playing games. You know, all you do is be like, man, I just want my car fixed.
Agreed, man.
Nah, you want therapy for 7 to 12 weeks or whatever because you're injured? Come on, man. Yeah, what happened? He was on his phone and not paying. Anyway, yeah. But the Most High, he gonna work it out. So I ain't tripping.
He sure is, Joe. My prayer requests ain't even. I ain't gonna say they ain't important, but they're not, unusual or they're not unusual to basically what I have been saying. The same stuff. My parents, still glad and overjoyed, man. They for what my brother tells me, they booking up a whole bunch of trips to go out of the country and do stuff. My father, I don't think he's been out of the country before, I'm sure, but it's been decades. It has to, because he just got his passport like recently. So they got, other friends of theirs that are their age that are also retired. They're gonna go do some stuff with them. And I'm just praying for their safety, man, because this world is still a wild place, and it's only gonna get wilder. Loss of life in the type of wickedness that goes on in certain places that we can't even see, don't even know about, but the Most High sees is unprecedented, especially as we move closer and closer to the end. So that's
Hey, remember Damien too?
Damien.
Yeah, remember this thing they call Bum? Jen and them people's Tanya's son.
Okay.
He got some stuff going on with his health.
All right, that's a bet.
Damien.
Let's talk to the Most High. Lord Yah Almighty, thank you for assembling us here yet again today. Thank you for sending the rain that waters the earth, man. Thank you for the miraculous things you do that, sometimes we overlook. We're able to wake up in the morning and just take a breath. That's a blessing. We get up out the bed and able to walk to wherever we walk after we sleep for like 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever it is. That's a blessing. The fact that we can use our limbs and speak and have responses from our senses to our nerves and our nervous system, man. It's a blessing. We don't discount these things. And then, oh, how much more of a blessing it is to be able to ask for your holy Ruach Hagadesh like we do today, and then to be able to be vessels for you. What a privilege. Let us never underestimate that. We give you praise, honor, and glory first and foremost and always, because you are Elohim of heaven and earth, and we will proclaim your name unto the deaf. You've heard the prayer requests lifted up by your servants, and even the ones that we didn't verbalize, starting off with the brother Derek Vaughn, man, and be with his family. And especially in this time, Father, we believe that the prayers, that were prayed right before, you made the decree for him to sleep, were heard, and that his calling and election is made sure, and that you got him, man. Besides the fact, I think about the mercy that you have for Yasharal, and, who can even measure that? Even in your consideration, the one you pick. So I calculate all that when I think about the prayers that have been prayed over this brother, and I pray that peace be over his family, over his friends, all that knew him, all that know him, and let his life be a testimony, man. You can go through some rough stuff, but man, we got good stuff coming. It ain't gonna be rough always. We got good stuff coming. Be with the brother Damien, who was just mentioned by O, and whatever his situation is, I'm not familiar with it, but I know you are. You're familiar with all things. Ask you to be with O in this whole situation with this brother with this accident, man. You know how this thing is. I've been in this situation similarly before. And and this is the beautiful thing, the motives and the ways of the man's heart. You know what I'm saying? We can't lie. We can lie to one another. We can fool one another, but can't nobody fool you. And if this brother has ulterior motives of wicked intention or greedy intention, selfish, anything that it is, make all his plans come to nothing. All of them. That's what we praying right now in the name of the Mashiach. Father, I want to just, ask that you be with us here in this session, these last couple shows that we're going to have here. The ministry ain't going to stop. It's always going to continue. You send us somebody on the street, we're going to minister right there. Servants of the kingdom, their job doesn't come to an end until the kingdom comes. So we're going to be doing that. But I ask that you would continue to be with this studio, man. Bless it, have your way with the management, because your will be done, ultimately. Doesn't matter what we think, do, or say, what moves we make. We may have the liberty of choice, but you and your rule will reign supreme. Your will be accomplished, no matter what. For you have seen it, you have known it since before you created anything. I should continue to be with my family, O's family, our parents, their health. They getting up in age. I know a lot of brothers and sisters, they putting their parents to rest right now, and I know that ain't convenient, but we know the cycle of life, and we know that all of us, eventually, we're going to be called to go to sleep. We may, think about it, may or may not, certain of us, but you ultimately know that number. I ask that you would just continue to be with us in health, continue to be with little nephew Ari as he's growing, man. The boy getting big. It's amazing seeing what's happening. I pray you continue to be with my brother as he, explores fatherhood newly, and his wife as well, exploring motherhood. And continue to be with our group, our Bible study group, especially at the end of the month. We make preparations for the feasts that are coming up. And just lead us and continue to guide us, man. Let your mercy and your grace be upon us. Let us do anything that we can to lay up more treasures in the kingdom. We can be more used by you to help somebody else find their way. Whatever it may be, continue to use us, Father. Thank you for hearing and answering all of our prayers. In the name of your son, Yahushua, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
And man, this week, I can't say it was interesting or uninteresting. It just seems like a week that just flew by. We got into the word a couple times, man. I know I talked about it last week on the program. I was reading the Apocalypse and the Testament of Abraham. Got some more good information, a lot of confirmation of things that are happening. I know recently this week, thinking of, the weekly or current events, the biggest thing, the fact that the Queen of England was pronounced dead on the 8th of this month. But, me and my folks, all praise to the Most High, who have been given insight, we kind of knew that she had been passed already. And there, if you keenly look and if you keenly see, a lot of stuff transpired the very next day, less than 24 hours after it was announced that she was dead, that shouldn't have had that much time or been prepared that rapidly. So all these things are orchestrated. Those who are in rulership, who are in power, who've been given their power by the Most High, have a plan in order to make it seem like they are still in control. So whatever happens, these types of deaths of the great ones, the famous ones, the rulers, the kings, the emperors, the presidents, whomever, when they start passing away, these are yet more signs that this is the consummation of times. Because we don't know what's going to happen with this. It was Prince Charles now. We don't know what's going to happen with him. But there's a lot of things that are bubbling, that's boiling. So as I was looking at all that, man, I jumped back into the prophecy books, of course. Ecclesiasticus, Baruch, the Apocalypse books, whatever I can get my hand on, and the Most High just led. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm thankful for the fact that it seems like whenever these events start taking place, the Most High opens up a way or a method for us to receive more information, something that we had overlooked before. Maybe it was a book or a title, something that we had read, said, man, I plan on reading that, but never got around to it. But now is the time that it's happening. And I think about those situations as specifically how the Spirit is leading us to be ready, to be watchful, because there are a lot of people that are not. There are a lot of people that are not. And a lot of people, unfortunately, ain't going to be ready for what is coming. Ain't going to be ready for it. But, yeah, man, all praise to the Most High that he has us where he has us. I know I talked about it last week. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have the counseling books in your rotation if you are diving into your scriptures, pretty regularly. I had a good conversation with my little brother this week, man. This is my testimony. I only got one sibling. I know you have several, But there used to be a time me and him would not speak of like real serious issues, you know what I'm saying, between either one of us, like as what we deal with as men, as people. And being able to come together with him and just talk to him about life openly and honestly, and about how we should and should not be handling not only our households, but the people we interact with. Being able to do that without coming into argument has been a blessing. And my brother checked me on some stuff before. Like, he's called me and said, yo, could I come through real quick? You know what I'm saying? We need to rap. And completely off guard. I ain't expecting it. And he'll come through and say, hey, man, I've been noticing this, that, and the third about your behavior. And before I'm get defensive, it's like, man, who you checking me? I'm the older brother. You know what I'm saying? Before I got defensive like this, I would hear the Spirit of the Most High just say, listen. Just listen. And being able to hear and recognize that voice and receive counsel through another vessel from the Most High, because everything he's given me, I cannot disagree with as being moral, as being righteous, and as being as I should be if I proclaim to be a man of Yah. I approached him with something similar this week, and the way he took it was astounding. He took it with wisdom, he took it with grace, and then he added upon that, he was like, I kind of had this inclination, and this is confirmation on the conversations and thing I believe God is showing me. This is what he was telling me. And when he said that, man, I was just happy because of the fact I know other brothers who I, pray with and talk to during the week, they have siblings, they don't talk. They got family they don't talk to. You know what I'm saying? They can't pick up the phone and call a mother or a father without there being some type of argument. And to say that it's hard on them and they try to shade it is just an understatement. You know what I'm saying? They try to act like everything's up, but I can tell that it messes with them. So my prayer, going forward was that, if there are opportunities for reparations or bridges not to be burned, but to be mended in families, and I pray that be the case. But if it come down to the subject of truth and where you stand in accordance to what thus saith Yah versus thus saith man, you stand with the Most High no matter what division it brings, because the word already promises whatever you lose, you're going to gain much more. Whether it be father or mother, brother or sister, you're going to gain that much more in time to come. And that was something serious I was thinking about, man. I was in my prayer, after I had this meeting with my brother later on, I was just like, man, pray we all make it. Because still, there's some things that he can't see that I can say. I've talked about it. I'm like, we ain't get it just yet. He didn't. But everybody in their due time, man. Everybody in their due time. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to know and understand and accept, and not only that, but most of all, love the truth. To love it.
And it was individuals that was allowed to be around the Mashiach, but were not allowed to understand what he was talking about.
Yep.
They got the words straight from the mouth of the source, but they weren't allowed to understand lest they believe and be converted. That's what the scripture says.
That's exactly right.
So that's even more of a concrete reason. That enhances my understanding even more that this ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We may want y'all to know what we know. We may want to see y'all wake up and get come out of her that you be not partakers of her plagues. Man, maybe it's supposed to be. Maybe it's part of your destiny to be a part of them plagues. Be partakers of that. Maybe you're counted with the chaff. I don't know. But we're not. And the individuals who've been chosen to be pointed out in these scriptures are not. You consider your man Abraham, what he went through. You know what I'm saying? Even as he showed himself to doubt as he got a little older, you know what I'm saying? He was more fearful of Pharaoh than he was of the Most High, because he tried to hide his wife, you know what I'm saying? Lied about that, but at the same time, he was quick to pick up a sword and go wreck for his family. You know what I'm saying? I've thought about that. If nothing else, if you only never want to shed no blood, you should be able to shed blood for your family.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Wasn't always, and you can always act on it like that, but just growing up and considering and looking at the examples that we've been given as our answer. I ain't talking about the way other nations work,
right?
Or the way other peoples work, the way people's minds have come to think in this country. You know what I'm saying? Look at what our ancestors were known for and what they did on a world stage, only because the Most High chose them. That's it. This man was surrounded by the gods, Abraham, that everybody, I'm sure, were familiar with. Even down to the point of Shaw that she had a room devoted to her gods. This is what the mentality of people were back then. They worshipped whatever they could come up with. You know what I'm saying? The works of their hands. That's what Most High specifically spoke against that when he gave the Decalogue. Thou shalt not worship anything, what did it say? Heaven above and the earth, no graven image. Yep. Nothing created, no likeness of anything.
No, none of it.
You know what I'm saying? We're made in his image. You're not supposed to worship yourself.
Think about how much that covers. Not only does it cover statues, but
everything.
Pictures.
Period.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, a graven image of any likeness of anything in the heavens above, in the woods beneath the earth, or on the earth, whatever it is, don't bow down. And it doesn't say don't create any images. It doesn't say you can't create or reproduce stuff or create art. Don't worship it. Don't bow. Don't bow yourself down to it. And when you find it, I'm gonna read out this knock too. But you gotta think about it. We're creative. You know what I'm saying? We got gifts, we got abilities. And the Most High ain't saying, man, just sit and do nothing. If you can carve a beautiful sculpture out of a tree, and it looks lifelike, man, just appreciate it and thank the Most High for giving you the ability to do it. But don't worship it. And try to convince people that this thing can help you here, help you there. Abraham exposed all of that to his dad. I mean, these jokers, you worshiping these bad boys, they can't do nothing for themselves. Here, you gotta fix them when they fall over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, when you think about it, when I thought about it, and not that I would ever create an image and worship it, that's not our mentality. We were given a religion that we worshiped. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were doing, a created image and likeness of a being and a story that goes with it, and that's what we fell in love with. That's what a lot of people are still stuck in today. But that's not the Most High Yah. We're supposed to worship him, fear him, the one who created the heavens and the earth. That's what the scripture warns us in these last days. Everybody don't see it. You know what I'm saying? But to have that reference, to have that information there, you know, you know for a fact that the Most High means what He's been saying over the thousands of years, over the centuries. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get people to see something. This is what I want. I picked these people for a reason. I'm giving you a breakdown of everything they've done to piss me off that I didn't like, so we won't do it. Everything that is said in this joint that man Joseph was like, nah, if I'm doing this, if I'm doing that, I can't do that.
Right.
Man, when you look at it, you have no choice but to job beat yourself up. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah,
Joe,
absolutely.
we messed all
His
the way up,
integrity
Joe.
checked me all the way.
We are messed all the way up. This man, Joe, he had all the attention in the world. All the females was on him.
All
Man
of it.
had the looks, he had the position, he had the money, but he wouldn't let none of that stuff get him out of pocket with the Most High. And as a result, the Most High still gave him that bad broad.
He
Joe.
did.
And he knew it was coming.
When he came back on the 8th day, he was like, "Oh yeah."
He said, "Who is that up in the window? Tell her to get out the window.
Tell her to get out the way,
Tell her
man.
to get out the window."
If you wonder, we looked up a book called Joseph and Asenath. That's the Egyptian wife that you can find in the Word that he married after Pharaoh promoted him to Zaphanath Paneah, or that's the title that he had for second in command over all Mizraim or Egypt. And then he married Asenath, and that's how he begat Ephraim and Manasseh, his two sons. But yeah, it's if you're looking for that, just Google it online for the PDF called "The Story of Joseph and Asenath" and read that junk, man. It's a good story. It's a real good story.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead.
But I thought we was gonna read the commandments. The commandment says, and Elohim spoke. Of course, it's Exodus 20. You know, this is the heart and soul right here. This is where you hang all the laws of the prophets. These are the laws right here. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, "I am Yahuwah Elohika, which have brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage." First commandment: you shall have no other Elohim before me. Don't put no worship. Don't worship nothing else before me. Nothing. You shall not make unto you any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah Elohika, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and guard my commandments. You know, I'm just realizing something after reading that. When he's talking about visiting the iniquity of the fathers of the children in the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, he's talking about the heathen. Mm-hmm. They hate him. But showing mercy unto thousands who made the same daggone mistakes as the heathen that guard my commandments because they has chosen to guard his commandments. Just picking that up right now. So that even that is split into who he's talking about and who he set apart. And showing, okay, verse 7, and you shall not take the name of Yahuwah Elohika in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. I never understood this with full understanding growing up. I thought if I said, God damn, that was taking his name in vain. But I didn't say his name.
Nope.
At all. If I said that, I swore it was taking his name in vain, meaning making light of it like it's nothing. That means essentially, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but this is the truth. When you disregard the name of God that y'all call him and you don't use his name, you're taking it in vain. So I can just call him God or Lord. It don't mean nothing. That's taking it in vain. What if somebody did that to you? Whatever job you have, I'm sure you have a title. What if somebody just came up there, just let me see the director? Oh, Mr. Such and Such, I don't care. Just let me see any director. I don't care who it is. Them saying they don't care who the director is pretty much treating you in vain. Because anybody can be what you are. But there is one Elohim, and he has a name, and it is Yah, Yahuwah, Yahweh. You got to get that Yah in there, that Y-A-H. That's very important. Very important. Continuing on with the commandments. 8, of course, remember the Shabbat to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah Eloheka. In it you shall not do any work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the day of the Shabbat and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Yahuwah Elohim gives you. You shall not kill. You shall not break wedlock. That's how it says in here. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not lust after your neighbor's house. You shall not lust after your neighbor's woman, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Don't lust after none of it. And that is the Holy Ten Commandments.
The job like read the same. I looked it up because I don't have my 66. I left it in the truck, but the job read the same in the King James aside from the name changes.
Mm-hmm.
But in Tanakh, it says Elohim spoke all these statements saying, I am Yahweh your Elohim, who has taken you out of the land of Egypt from the house of slavery. You shall not recognize the gods of others in my presence. You shall not make yourself a carved image, nor any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or on the earth below, or in the waters beneath the earth. That you shall not recognize the gods of others in my presence, which is everywhere. So that means don't do it.
His presence.
Especially when you call yourself worshiping.
Right.
If worship is preserved for him, man, don't create an atmosphere that's supposed to be for me with some piece of wood or stone.
Right.
Or something that you made and I made you. That's ultimate disrespect.
Mm-hmm. I can't disagree with none of that.
So, because look at they ain't die on man. As soon as it, you shall not make yourself a carved image, nor any likeness of that which is in the heaven above, or on the earth below, or in the water beneath the earth. You shall not prostrate yourself to them, nor worship them. For I am Yahweh your Elohim, a jealous Elohim, who visits the sin of fathers upon children, to the third and fourth generations of my enemies, but who shows kindness for thousands of generations to those who love me and observe my commandments. You shall not take the name of Yahweh your Elohim in vain, for Yahweh will not absolve anyone who takes his name in vain.
Come on.
Remember the Sabbath day to sanctify it. 6 days shall you work and accomplish all your work, but the seventh day is Sabbath to Yahweh, is Sabbath to Yahweh, your Elohim. You shall not do any work. You, your son, your daughter, your slave, your manservant, your animal, and your convert within your gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and he rested on the seventh day. Therefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and sanctified it. Honor your father and your mother, so that your days will be lengthened upon the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your fellow. You shall not covet your fellow's house. You shall not covet your fellow's wife, his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, nor anything that belongs to your fellow. And that's interesting. I think it was Michi, somebody brought up the point one time where the scriptures say, love your neighbor as yourself. It's not talking about just the person that lives next door to you. Your neighbor meaning somebody like your fellow Israelite.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this commandment is regards to whoever, because it's used the term fellow.
Yeah.
And not neighbor.
Right.
As far as in the Hebrew, I'm pretty sure those words mean, one has a distinct meaning. And this encompasses, don't want for nothing that nobody else got.
Right.
You're supposed to do kind unto your neighbor, you know what I'm saying? Or treat your neighbor, love your neighbor as you would, you know what I'm saying? It's talking about our brethren, our actual brethren, you know what I'm saying? Those of our own heritage, you know what I'm saying? I never really, it's interesting to have several different sources of readings, you know what I'm saying, just to get a clear picture of what it is.
We just clarified the misunderstanding I had too. I thought it was, painted image or any image. This joint says carved, yours says cut.
Hey.
My joint says graven. So anytime you sitting down with, I guess, with a knife on either on stone or on wood, and you carving something, you breaking the commandment. Because he said first and foremost, don't do that. And then he went the distance to say, not in heaven, not on earth, not in the waters under the earth. That means nowhere that your eyes have seen should you be likening any type of image unto you shouldn't be doing it.
You shouldn't be recreating anything, you know what I'm saying, and calling yourself worshiping it. And if that alone doesn't prick the hearts and minds of professed believers or adherents to whatever religion, it's like you don't really take the scripture serious. You don't take what the Most High is saying serious, because even with the with the image of the name that all men love to say. That's not him. That's a Romans. That's
Roman's son.
That image is Cesare Borgia. It ain't a conspiracy theory. It's history.
It's true.
It's history.
Fact.
Now you may not want to hear it. Shame on you. But it's, man, that alone made me stop paying attention to that picture.
Yeah.
Before I ever knew that wasn't his name. And then you get into was it Baruch? They said they're going to take out our images and put their own images in there.
That's Maccabees. Yeah.
Maccabees.
Yeah.
I mean, you see old books with all the epistles or the apostles or whatever, they had color to them.
Well, all of them.
You know what I'm saying? They all had a pigmentation to their skin. They weren't pale. Even the Egyptians, they show us these movies. Hollywood has whitewashed everything. And we stupid Americans follow along with whatever they tell us to believe or think or do. And it just becomes, repetition deep as the impression. The more we do it over and over and over again, the more we believe it, whether it's a falsehood or not.
Yeah.
It just has become so ingrained in us. You don't even have the ability to raise the question in opposition of what you've been seeing your whole life. How is that possible? And I've known this my whole life. What do you know? You ain't been here that long.
What do we know?
You don't know no more than what you've been told because you ain't really sought it out for yourself. All you know is what you've been told. And you've only researched in line with what you've been told and taught. You've never stepped outside of that to gain any type of better. You may have read other religious books that stick with the same religious principles that you've been given, but you've never looked outside of that to see where did this come from? Where did this understand? I'm not trying to. You've never heard us say the Most High Yah does not exist. We're not atheists sitting up here. We know who the Most High is. We just know what He intended for His people, as opposed to what we know He allowed to take place as a result of individuals who were not gonna believe the truth or didn't have a love for the truth, which ultimately means you don't have a real love for Him. He is the truth and the way and the light.
It's gonna be a real bad wake up call for those who spend their days in pursuit of things like deep into things. The reason why I'm going this direction is because I think about people who have PhDs in certain areas where they make money. Of course, I mean, why would you get a PhD if you can't make money off of whatever it is you call yourself a master in knowing? And if you go down any road, any profession, and you become a master in it, it all amounts to nothing if you don't know the Most High and ain't right with Him or ain't got a relationship with Him. And the reason why that is a fact is because any PhD and any master of any craft can die at any minute because we all mortal. All of us. And no man knoweth the day nor the hour in which he is to pass away. He don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. He don't know what's going to happen 10 to 15 minutes from now. If that. So it's like if you spend all your time in pursuits of the trivial, of the temporary, and have no knowledge or understanding or even desire to seek out that which is eternal, then you're just spinning your wheels. And I guess the reason why I'm making that disparity is because the beautiful thing about this is we didn't naturally have a desire to go deeper into this thing. It was brought to our attention, and then there was a spark, which was already in us, to ask the question, why is this so? What is correct and what isn't? What is truth and what is lie? And why do we want to know this? As men, we want to deal with reality. We want to know exactly what it is. And I ain't saying women don't either. I'm just saying my mind naturally goes to, okay, well, what is it? What is the absolute truth? Let's start from there. What's the basis? And then we can see how we veered away from that path. But let's start with what is real, what ain't going to change. And that is the truth. And when it's shown to you, you either go and turn away from it because it's too much, because the truth tends to be obvious and is what it is. It doesn't care because it's the truth. But
people are told the truth is the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the truth. That's what church gonna tell you.
That's what they've been told.
Yeah. That's the hook, line, and sinker of all these religions.
But why
the gospel of Jesus, the good news?
Why are people content to be
because
told?
it helps you. You can be you. Oh, you said why they content with being told?
To being told.
They're sheeple. Sheep have to be led. Sheep don't just get up and go do what they want to do. If the shepherd don't tell them go eat over there, they'll probably sit there and starve. If you put them in a parking lot with no grass and there's a big field outside of it, if the shepherd don't say go eat that grass, they'll probably stand on that concrete and die.
Sheesh.
It's in their nature. They need to be led. the shepherds don't know where to take them, then it ain't the sheep's fault. But if
Don't
somebody
lead
come
the
around
blind.
like, look, man, y'all on concrete. You got some weeds growing up through cracks, but there's a field full of grass over there
Right.
that you could just go eat all you want and graze all you want. You want to stay on this canal? The shepherd right there, he's sitting out eating a sandwich. So we're gonna wait for
Him to
shepherd.
feed us.
We're gonna wait for shepherd to get finished having his dinner, and then he gonna give
Feed
us
us.
give us what we need. You know, he said he got some water for us. I only see a jug next to him though, but it's a river and everything over there by this big
Yeah.
old pasture. And the Most High
Everybody.
trying to get y'all to come see. Come over here, you know. And they're like, no, pastor say stay here. Pastor say we gotta stay in the ship. Don't jump ship too late.
Oh man, who do you trust, Pastor or the
I can
Most
swim.
High?
Yeah, I know how to swim. I learned how to swim young. Woe unto them that don't know how to swim. All praise to the Most High. Test my mama. My mama waited till she was 60-some years old to want to learn how to swim.
Word?
Overcame that fear of the water. Jumped on a jet ski with my stepfather.
Oh, that's
she was
what's
like, I got
up.
on the jet ski. I said, go ahead, ma. Yeah, conquered
That's
that
what's
fear,
up.
Joe. Got out
That's
that
what's
bad
up.
boy. Was like, yeah, I'm out here with my boo. Out there doing a jet ski thing on their
Yeah.
anniversary. I want to learn how to swim now.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's what's up.
She could do it.
Yeah, she
she
ready
could
to jump
do
out that boat.
it.
Yeah, jump ship now.
Yeah, I remember the last time I was at my brother's crib. He has a pool in his community. His wife couldn't swim. When he married her, couldn't swim.
Mm-hmm.
Scared of the water. Scared to put her head under the water. I couldn't fathom that. I've been in the water since I can remember. But that's because I was trained to be in the water since I was little. She wasn't. And man, last time I was over there, she ran off of the side of the pool and jumped into the water. And Brandon couldn't believe it. He's like, you would have thought it was the second coming. He was like, did you just, like, he said, yo, and he like went berserk. And I could tell by his reaction that was truly like amazing for her because she must have had like a crucial fear. I'm not around all the time, so I don't know that. But based on his reaction, overcoming fear, jump in the water. You ain't gonna die. You're gonna float. You got air in you. So you're gonna come back up unless you ain't breathing. Jump in the water, man. See, why be afraid? Why be afraid?
Hold up. Don't jump in the water just because you think you're going to float. You get in that water, you panic. Oh, you're going to drown. You better stay calm. You
Get the light, what is
said
it, the
you gonna
shallow
float?
end.
Jump-
You-
don't jump in the water just because you.
Yeah, I'll say it like that
You
just because, man. Hey, look, you got to struggle a little bit. They threw me in the water, and when I was young, I remember that.
Nah, you just said.
He
jump
said, "Jump in the water, you'll
You gonna
float."
float. You'll be all right.
If the water is still, man, you
sorry,
got
man.
air in you.
Yeah,
you'll be
it's
all right,
possible to float. It is. You got to stay calm, though.
You do.
You
If you
got to
start
stay calm.
panicking.
If you start panicking, that water will beat you behind. You can't fight that water. It'll win every time. Can't drink it all either. Man, it's a beautiful thing though to watch what the Most High has been doing with people, man. Especially with overcoming fear. It was
True.
a fear of mine. I didn't open my mind up to. Your pops asked me. Remember he asked me, said, man, who I had in the game. Who
Yeah,
you got in
what
the
are your
game?
interests?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah.
He went to that. What are your interests? I never been asked that. Because if he meant sports-wise, he would have specified sports.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you have any interest in any sports? Because I didn't. I don't watch football, and I ain't tripping off basketball. He went straight to what are your interests? And after a second of thinking, scriptures. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in this. You know what I'm saying? At first, I only thought it was this. So that's as far as I would allow myself to go. This, well, not even that, but the King James
verse.
and whatever Ellen G. White had to say about the King James. Those were my interests. That's all I wanted to know. I would factor it into every conversation I was having with people. I don't care what we were talking about. I'm gonna find some way to bring it around to something that's in the Bible, or something that's in the Great Controversy, or something that's in Steps to Christ, or something. That's how I was wired. That's how I am wired. And it ain't just because of being born Seventh-day Adventist. It's because I was set aside from birth to embrace wholeheartedly only one thing in this life. The addictions that I possess, man, those are just little roadblocks. The enemy trying to throw
That's
me
all.
off, and y'all ain't like, and he hasn't allowed that to work. But you look at this man Joseph. You know, I wish I would have kept my integrity intact. I remember letting it go. I remember when I said F it, because I just wanted to be like everybody else. It felt weird being different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It felt weird being looked at not with disdain, but just like almost in awe. But it just felt weird.
Yeah.
Like, who is this guy? What is he? Hold up. What is, he what? But the whole time, like, man, I'm trying to do what everybody else doing. You know what I'm saying? Let me hit that. You don't smoke. You go to church. What you mean? What they got to do with anything? Never even considered the fact that, Most High was trying to keep us separated. But the fact that he knew we were going to want it anyway, just like our ancestors, he set provisions. He allowed it to take place at certain points in our lives. So we could actually deal with it and know what we was getting into, you know what I'm saying? And kind of keep that full monkey at bay. With some of us, man, you some good brothers in the street. They got vicious addictions, but they good dudes. They got a certain level of discipline as far as being a man, but they got vices.
Yeah, vices.
There's a lot of people that don't drink or smoke or do none of this stuff that's looked at as bad, but they can't drive 2 minutes down the road without being overly judgmental to somebody they're looking at, or cussing somebody out for nothing, or watching something that don't have any merit to it. But you look at other people like they're so wrong because they're doing something that you would never do. You don't see, and that's another thing. You better be careful of what you say you'll never do. Oh, I'd never do that. I'd never say that. Play games. Let the Most High remove his hand of mercy on you for a second. Let the enemy just go at you. You'd be surprised what you'll end up doing.
Man, that's so real. Yeah, I like what you said, though, about the provisions that he set aside, man, because he has grace on who he may have grace on, and who he has wrath on is whomever he has wrath. I like it when it said in the Apocalypse of Abraham, when he was talking to him, he was like, let me ask you this question. Why, when you told your father what you told him about the idols, did he not repent and destroy all his idols, but he went back and kept worshiping? And Abraham said to the Most High, said, because he chose not to listen to what I told him. And he said, and the Most High told him, he said, your father has his will in him, you have your will in you, and I have my will within me, which covers everything. So he has mercy on who he would have mercy on. He has wrath on who he has wrath on. He picks who he picks. He sets up who he sets up. And it's his prerogative. Ain't nobody questioning it. Just like we got our will, he has his. And that's how we're given to understand the reason why. Because, I mean, the question was, it's like, all these patriarchs is like, why did you create us if you're going to let us be punished and deal with all this wrath and slavery and stuff like that? He's like, man, listen, I predetermined this all in the beginning. And it's all going to come back to the glory of my great name. All of it. All of it's for that. So in the end, that's what's going to be proclaimed. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess who is Elohim, and they going to know. And it's all going to be for that. And I think about that in regards to the decisions that I've made that I know ain't, just like you said, man, vicious vices. Good brothers, but vicious vices. And the Most High knows. He knew. He's like, young, this is going to be you're going to have a little the thorn. I keep thinking about that. You're going to have something in you. Because he knew ultimately what it would be for any man or woman to experience no trial, nothing trying, or nothing difficult in what they would be like. They would wholly discount him. They would wholly leave him alone. They would never pay attention to him, never pray, never consider, never nothing. If all you know is prosperity, you ain't got no need of nothing. You're self-sustaining. You are God, essentially, in your own mind. Not us, man.
I seen some of that daggone Apocalypse of Abraham. I got these little screenshotted notes, but I don't have them. I said, I'm not going to lie, your status and this would be so. Hey, man, I understand what I say to you. Answer my question. This is what you were just talking about right here. Yeah, Abraham, understand what I say to you and answer my question.
Yeah.
Why did your father Terah not listen to your voice, and why did he not cease from his idolatrous practices, together with his whole house? Eternal One. It was entirely because he did not choose to listen to my voice, and likewise, I did not choose to listen to his counsel. So the will of your father is within him. This is what the Most High said. The will of your father is within him, and your own will is within you. And so also the counsel of my own will is within me.
Come on.
And is ready for the coming days, even before you have any knowledge of them or can see with your eyes what is the future of them. I made my mind about this a long time ago.
All things precisely.
A long time ago, I willed this. Yeah. This is what I know. This is what I know. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, that's right there. So what is this one? He said, how now look again into the picture and see how it will be for your seed. What did he say? Because I'm trying to see what he was talking about, the divine counsel and what was on both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
the picture? Even
remnants of the shaitans or who's Azazel's seed, Yahweh has picked. This is why I look at it, right? since you heard what the Father said, how he'd already willed this for himself. You already see the backbone of most professed Christians, right? They ain't got one. There's no spine that you're going to roll over and do whatever you told to do. But there's a group of people out there that's ready for war, that's really ready to destroy. You might want to stand up for whatever they tell you to stand up for, whatever. But I'm talking about there are jokers out there who have a warrior mentality because you have to survive out in the world, out in the street. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he knows what he said. See, our whole family structure was warriors at one time.
Yeah.
The Big 12 and their sons, man, ain't nobody played games with them peoples. Two of them. And the silly Pharaoh's son acknowledged the fact that Simeon and Levi dogged 30,000 men with their swords, and yet he still put his little punk-ass butter knife out. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all see my sword? Or if you don't help me with this plan, I'm going
to try to throw it.
Hold up. Listen, sir. Listen, sir. Listen, with all due respect.
Simeon was about to go.
With all due respect, you don't want that smoke. Don't you ever repeat that like that again.
Ever.
Don't you ever open your mouth and say that like that again. Hey, look, man, this is the thing, right? History has shown what the Most High does with people that he chooses, what he's capable of doing. And not just his angels. I mean, talking about his heavenly messengers, with human beings. What he chooses to do with human beings is unfathomable. But he's the one doing it. But look at the way the world sees us, right? Look at how Shawty, when her father told her about Joseph, the man of Yah that's coming, you know what I'm saying? Who Pharaoh got him up here, you know what I'm saying? He's ruled over all of Egypt and blah, 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 woo, woo. She said when she heard what her father said, a great red sweat came over her. And she was furious and looked sideways at her father. And she said, why should my Lord and my father speak like this and talk as if he would hand me over like a prisoner to a man of another race? Missed everything she said about him being a man of Yah and second in command over Pharaoh, under Pharaoh. He's of another race. He's not of us. He's a Hebrew. Come on, man.
Racist.
Early racism. A man of another race. A man who was a fugitive, sold as a slave. A man who was a fugitive and was sold as a slave. Is this not the shepherd's son from the land of Canaan? And he was abandoned by him? Is not this the man who had intercourse with his mistress and his master threw him into prison where he lay in darkness? And Pharaoh brought him out of the prison because he interpreted his dream? No, I will marry the eldest son of the king, but he is king of all the earth. This was this young lady's perspective on Joseph. This was her perspective. Didn't know the man. Based on what she had heard, based on what may have been the stories, you know, of whatever. No firsthand knowledge of Joseph, but this is what she told her daddy. Blatantly going against the commandment to honor your father and your mother. This is what she said to Pop. Nah, I ain't doing that. But little did she know that the Most High had already willed it. It was already a part of his plan. He already saw it. Way before this, he knew what he was going to have done. We just read it. He said that in the Apocalypse of Abraham. Just like you got your will. She thought she was acting on her will.
Right.
Now, Joseph at the same time, because their interaction is a little bit after this, he showed his integrity as a man of Yah.
He did.
And broke Shawty's being down with just a simple prayer. A gesture and a prayer. See, men, this man has told me, I had to be, when it's time to soul search and be real with yourself and be transparent, you got to consider what has been more pleasurable to me. The intercourse or the intercourse? Is it the physical or the course that you enter to really get that person in line?
Sheesh.
You know what I'm saying? And Joseph he wanted to enter the course. He didn't want the intercourse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be able to chop it up with that female's being and not just chop her up.
Yeah.
Inner being. You know what I'm saying? It blew my mind. It blew my mind. The ability he had, the restraint. Of course, you know, everybody know the story. You know, Potiphar's wife grabbed him. He ran about that joint naked. He was like, man, I'm about to get away. I got to get away from this woman. And if you've gone to the Apocrypha, you see there was a lot of instances. It wasn't just that one.
Right.
That's in the 66. She shot her shot with that man
Heavy,
a lot. And I can only imagine how she was moving around her palace.
bruh.
It already was half dressed anyway.
Bro, this one joint said that her husband had gone somewhere, and and left Joseph in charge of the house, and she knew that. She stayed home, perfumed the whole house with spices and herbs, and she put out a meal and everything. And then, of course, she was dressed to the nines, and she waited for Joseph. Joseph said he smelled the house from a distance and refused to go in because he knew what time it was. If I go in there, it's Seduction City. It's over. And he did not go into the house. And she went look. Oh man, yeah, he had to be a man of integrity, bro.
If I was Joseph,
Oh Lord, have
Egypt would have
mercy.
starved. Egypt would not have got that corn. They wouldn't, or they would not have got. I'm just telling you the truth.
Hey, look,
I'd
I'm
have
right
had
there
babies
with you.
all in Goshen
All
and
the
all
time.
look all of the outskirts.
Hey, look, Potiphar, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, Slim.
You gotta
Hey,
get your youngin.
Hey, look, bro. She came with me, her and all the girls.
All
There
the
was
girls.
like 15 of them. They ran down on me, man. And look, hey,
They
my
raped
man.
him.
You know,
They was about to rape him.
yeah, but man, his integrity was so intact. How can I do this act?
Ooh,
sin against
before
Most
the
High?
ooh man.
That's how connected he was.
Yeah, man.
See, the church used to have us scared to cross the street and not be in the crosswalk because God sees everything and that's against the law. You just look up like, hold up, man, is he really up there looking at everything I do? But that's not the point. That's not even what I think it should be. But to know that the Most High sees everything is more of a reason why you should talk to him about everything. Don't try to walk on eggshells. You're gonna mess up. Anyway, he already knows that. He knows that. That's not saying go out here and see how much messing up you can do. But he's a father. That's the problem is a lot of us didn't have fathers. We don't know what this brother was blessed. Got a heck of a dad. You know what I'm saying? I've met the man. And he has a structure in place. You know what I'm saying? That most people weren't fortunate enough to have that. But you're talking about the father, not just a father. You know what I'm saying? Who's merciful and he knows how to deal with his good kids and bad kids. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna punish those that need to be punished, and he's gonna also discipline his children. Nothing's gonna go unpunished. He said he loved those who loves, he chastens. So if you don't get popped on the hand for touching that thing you ain't had no business touching, that means the love ain't real. Parents that let their kids just go do whatever they want to do, think whatever they want to think, say whatever they want to say, and chalk it up to, oh, I'm just letting them express themselves. All right, spare the rod, spoil the child. And when that kid grow up to cuss you out and lightweight put hands on you because they done got bigger than you by the time they're 16, then what? You want to call the police? Kick them out because you didn't give them the structure and the discipline they needed to actually respect your person? It's beyond me. My mother did the best she could raising 3 boys and a girl. Pops was in the picture, but he wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? And what you see is what you get. But I acknowledge all my BS, all of it. I know what I wish could have happened differently, but I know what I did to make myself what I am. You know what I'm saying? And I think about it a lot. You know, don't try crying over spilled milk. And to use crying over spilled milk, hindsight is always 20/20, as they say too. But being able to look back, and no, I didn't do with I didn't bridge the gap. You know what I'm saying? You ask my kids about me, and no telling what they might say. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they're here. They're a blessing, and they're being a blessing to others around them. And without me, they wouldn't be here. You know, not bragging. You know what I'm saying? But in order to get Manasseh and Ephraim, if I'm not mistaken, who took the place of Dan and Gad in the group of the 12, a zenith was needed.
Yep.
You know, if we're not out here trying to, I've always thought from a youth, right? Say, study to show yourself approved, study to show yourself approved. And I'm going to school, whether it was GP, the DuPont days, GP days, as I started to learn more and more in school. And I know in church, on every Saturday, they're talking about study to show yourself. Pastor used to always talk about, Pastor Hayden especially, study to show yourself approved. Study to show yourself approved. Ask for the God to give you the mind of Jesus. That's what he used to pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's what he used to always say, and that's what I used to always pray from a child, always. And I'm like this, why aren't we learning everything that's in this Bible in school? If this is what matters, why isn't this the focal point of every class? Everything should be being brought to this.
Yeah.
Even though this wasn't even in it. But the Bible is about us. The scriptures are about us, our people, the people that were descendants of slaves in this country. That's what the scripture. The Bible is a Christian overview of a lot of what our people went through. I'm not even gonna go into that. But if we're supposed to be learning about us, so we can become more knowledgeable of what the Most High would have us do or not do, then this is all we should be being fed. You know what I'm saying? And once we get this down pat, then we can branch off into other areas. You know, but this is what will make us, peculiar and set aside. You know, it's not about going over there and learning what all the other nations are doing or getting a complete understanding of this. There's nothing wrong with being well-rounded, but get this first. Get this first. Get your foundation built properly.
Wisdom and understanding first.
Wisdom and understanding first.
Yes.
You know, and the knowledge to be able to separate what should be applied here and what shouldn't be applied. I said, this is not for everybody. We've been lightweight beating a dead horse in here. Because for the most part, if you cut this thing on, like my man was saying, most people only got like a 3-minute attention span. Half y'all that started out with us may not even be there no more. Or if you're just coming in and you hear something that's offensive to your ears, you probably cut it off. You got the right to do that, but you'll watch all that BS on TikTok. You'll watch all them dumb, whatever them little ignorant joints. I do it, I watch it too. On Instagram, Vines, Reels, whatever that crap is. You'll watch all that nonsense. Movies, binge watch 15, 20 programs back to back to back because it's interesting to you. If the truth ain't interesting to you, then it ain't for you. That's a scary thought, though. Well, it should be. That was intended to scare you. If you don't find the truth interesting, or if you don't know enough to know that what we're telling you is the truth, then you got a lot more searching to do, a lot more seeking, a lot more digging. Where you at, bro?
It's going to happen. No, I was looking, but I ain't
What's 51?
Psalm 51.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah.
What is
Turn to it. Have mercy upon me, O Elohim, according to your loving kindness, according to the multitude of your tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you only have I sinned, and done this evil in your sight, that you may be justified when you speak and be clear when you judge. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part you shall make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which you have broken may rejoice. Hide your face from my sins and blot out my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a right Ruach within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Ruach HaKodesh from me. Restore unto me the joy of your Yeshua, and uphold me with your free Ruach. Then will I teach transgressors your ways, and sinners shall be turned back unto you. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O Elohim, Elohai of my Yeshua, and my tongue shall sing aloud of your righteousness. O Yahuwah, open my lips, and my mouth shall show forth your praise. For you desire not sacrifice, else I will give it. You delight not in ascending smoke offering. The sacrifices of Elohim are a broken Ruach, a broken and contrite heart. O Elohim, you will not despise. Do good in your good pleasure unto Zion. Build the walls of Jerusalem. Then you shall be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with ascending smoke offering and whole ascending smoke offering. Then shall they offer bullocks upon your altar. Psalm 51.
David had a lot to say. Was that David?
Yeah, David wrote this one. This is what David said after Nathan had this conversation with him. When Nathan came to him, he charged him. He told him about that little parable about that man with the goat. And he said this other brother had all that stuff.
Yeah, and he took the one.
He took the goat. He's like, what should be done unto that man? David stood up. He's like, man, kill that dude and take away everything that he has and give it to that man who had the goat. And Nathan was like, behold, you were that man.
Yeah, man. What did he take, though?
Oh, he took Bathsheba.
Oh, yeah.
It had, what's his name?
Uriah killed.
Uriah killed. That's right.
Patty nigga.
Yeah, Uriah killed. He thought the Most High ain't see
David was a peeping Tom.
Then the Most High said the thing. He said, man, don't you know how to give it you if you would have asked me just any of this? I'm like, oh.
But who came from Bathsheba?
Solomon.
You got to consider the, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's his will.
Come on, man.
That's the biggest example.
That's the beautiful part about his plan.
Yeah.
He's already figured out.
He's already figured it out.
It don't always look good. Oh, come on. How could you do that?
Oh, come on, man.
Why would you do that? Why would you lie to your mother?
Oh, praise.
How you gonna trick your daddy in his old age? Apparently, it was supposed to go down like that. Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov.
Yeah.
Not Abraham, Isaac, and Esau.
Yeah, because Rebecca came with the plot.
She had the plan.
She had
this is what you're gonna do, right? I'm gonna go ahead and go get your food. I'm gonna go get your father food. You go put some hair on you.
Put some hair on
So
you.
you appear like you're your brother.
Right. Yep.
You know your daddy can't see.
Yeah.
He
smell
going blind.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, go roll around in the dirt.
Smell like
you know,
you've been out in
feel
the,
like the
on
earth.
the
Yo, hold
hunt.
up, man. Hold up. He asked and said, man, is this? I think this is my son.
Yeah, he did. He
this
said,
is
"You don't."
David.
No. The first thing he said, "How come you? I feel." Or he said something to respect. I feel Esau, but I hear Jacob.
Oh, man.
Because he couldn't make himself sound like his brother.
But that's how much respect is had in that culture for the blessing that comes out of the mouth
Of the
of
father.
the father.
Yeah, man.
Because even though that was not his firstborn, once he blessed Joseph,
Yeah.
Jacob,
Jacob.
he couldn't take it back. He did that in front of the eyes of Yahweh. Daddy, give me something. Oh, you're going to be a servant of your brother. What?
No,
He gave him something like
yeah,
that.
he did.
Pissed him off, and they've hated us to this day, the descendants.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
the
you,
reason.
If you tied in, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Y'all got something for him though. This man Joseph though, man. And you look, go into it. It's Joseph and Asenath, right? It's not long. It's not long at all. This is I think I don't know. I think Ruth put this together.
Yeah, she's
You know, it ain't that many pages, front and back. We sat and read it yesterday in our group, and you know, switching back and forth. It ain't take us no time to get through, and stopping and you know, just considering some of the stuff that was taking place, which was blowing me away. You know, because I see this stuff as I read it. But it just tripped me out how this woman, who was described as beautiful and all this stuff, so she adorned herself with all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? She had this room full of gods or whatever.
treasure.
And when she encountered Joseph, she saw him and was infatuated like every other woman. But before she had a chance to really interact with him, you see what her perspective of him was. Oh, you talking about this son of this shepherd from Canaan, this one that had intercourse with his master, you know, his slave, he was locked up. That's what her preconceived notion of him was before she actually saw him. She see this man like, damn, this nigga bad, this nigga fine. You know what I'm saying? Look at him like he glowing and all this other stuff. Like he's sent from the Most High. She ready to go try to get at him. He immediately stopped her. Like, hold up. So he put his hand on with her right breast.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, no, not off no freaked out type nothing, but like, Joe, hold up. What do you say? He said, Pentecost said to Asenath, come near and kiss your brother. And when she came near to kiss Joseph, Joseph stretched his right hand out and laid it against her breast and said, it is not right for a man who worships Elohim who with his mouth blesses the living Elohim and eats the blessed bread of life and drinks the blessed cup of immortality and is anointed with the blessed unction of incorruption to kiss a strange woman who with her mouth pleases dead and dumb idols.
Mercy.
And eats of their table the bread of anguish and drinks of their libations the cup of treachery.
Mercy.
And is anointed with the unction of destruction. A man who worships Elohim will kiss his mother and his sister that is of his own tribe and kin, and in the wife that shares his couch, who with their mouths bless the living Elohim. So too, it is not right for a woman who worships Elohim to kiss a strange man, because this is an abomination in Elohim's eyes. And when Asenath heard what Joseph said, she was most distressed and cried out aloud. And she fixed her gaze on Joseph, and her eyes were filled with tears. And Joseph saw her, and his heart went out to her, for Joseph was tenderhearted and compassionate and feared Yahweh. And he lifted up his right hand above her head and said, and he prayed for her. He was tenderhearted, as stern as he just was with his direct, no show, ho,
Yeah.
baby girl, listen, let me break something down to you. Yeah. First of all, he didn't come to the house for dinner. He don't eat with Egyptians.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But you second in command of Pharaoh. But you still kept a distinct separation between what your culture was and theirs. Just like the three Hebrew boys, just like Daniel. They were taken into Nebuchadnezzar's palace, but they didn't get down like they got down. Mm-hmm. We've been so passed around like whores, you know what I'm saying, as a people who just bounced around from nation to nation, getting raped by this nation, raped by that nation, getting BS deposited in us over here and getting dressed up like this and being called that. We ain't got no, man, do whatever. It's like, man, it's whatever. That's why women walk around looking the way they look and the dudes are confused the way they can do. We got too much BS in us. Even though the Most High has been trying to purge our people for at least 800 years, 400 here, and then leading up to this. The man, when he saw the tears in her eyes. I used to be a sucker for a female crying.
Yeah, man.
I've gotten so many fights. Whooped a lot of females' boyfriends when they were probably wrong because they were crying. And that's what he says. When Shawty looked up at him, and you heard what she said, and I'm skipping. You heard what she said when Pops was like, "Yeah, the man of Elohim is coming, Joseph, and yeah, we want you to meet." Nah, I ain't trying to meet the nigga. She see him, she run down on him, he stop her, and give her a stern talking to, hurt her feelings. Now she about to cry or crying. It touched Joseph. He looked to the Most High and say, "Oh Yah, the Elohim of my father Israel, the Most High, the Mighty One, who did us quicken all things, and did us call them from darkness into light, and from error into truth, and from death into life. Do thou, O Yah, thyself quicken and bless this virgin, and renew her by thy spirit, and remold her by thy secret hand." Hold up, bro, I missed that.
Remold her, yep.
I missed that. He says, "Do thou, O Yah, thyself quicken and bless this virgin, and renew her by thy spirit, and remold her by thy secret hand." Renew her by thy spirit. That's the angel that came.
Yep.
Remold her by thy secret hand. She tore down all of her ish.
By a secret hand.
By his secret hand. Took her clothes, threw them out the window, threw her gods out the window, threw the food out. And quicken her with thy life. Quicken her with thy life, and may she eat the bread of thy life, and may she drink the cup of thy blessing. She whom thou didst choose before she was begotten, and may she enter into thy rest, which thou hast prepared for thine elect.
And it lasted 7 days.
And it lasted 7 days, that rest. Because he says he's going to come back in 8 days. Mm-hmm. And before that, it talks about when she was preparing herself and the rooms that she had and the stuff that was in the rooms. But it's not that long. It said, Joseph, and Asenath was filled with joy at Joseph's blessing, and she went up in haste to her story at the top and fell on her couch exhausted because she felt not only happy, but also disturbed and very frightened. And she had been bathed in perspiration from the moment she heard Joseph speaking to her in the name of Elohim, Most High. And she wept bitterly, and she repented of her gods she used to worship. And she waited for evening to come, and Joseph ate and drank, and he said to his servants, "Yoke the horses to the chariot, for he said, I must depart and go around the whole city and the district." Pentephres said to Joseph, Stay the night here, my lord, and tomorrow go your way." And Joseph said, "No, I must go now, for this is the day when Elohim began his work. In 8 days' time I will come back again and stay the night here with you." Then Pentephres and his relations went away to their estate, and Asenath was left alone with the virgins. And she was listless and wept until sunset. She ate no bread, drank no water. Shawty was living a high life prior to this interaction with the man of Yah. Prior to this interaction with her future husband, she was on top of the world, had on her best clothes and probably smelling good, looking good. Thought she was about to lightweight seduce this dude. He wasn't going for it. He was ready for it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't let his guard fall, man. And then once she get upstairs, Asenath quickly took down the leather curtain. Okay, and she opened the door and went down to the gate, and she found the portress asleep with her children. Then Asenath quickly took down the leather curtain from the door, and she secured the door and fastened it. No. She curtain from the door, and she filled it with ashes and carried it up to the top story and laid it on the floor. Now, who knows? Did everybody, when they felt repentive, go get the ashes and do the sackcloth thing, or was that just Israelites?
That was the Israelites, from what I understand.
Because now
sackcloth and ashes.
Now, so I'm only asking that is because the king of Nineveh had the whole city and put on. Now, was that a?
They may have learned that from Israel, because that was after this.
That was after this. Okay.
That was after that.
So, but she went down there, she got the ashes, and carried it up to the top story and laid it on the floor. And she secured the door and fastened it with the iron bar from the side, and she groaned aloud and wept. And the virgin that Asenath loved the most of all the virgins, heard her mistress groaning, and she aroused the other virgins and came and found the door shut. She listened to Asenath groaning and weeping and said, "Why are you so sorrowful, my lady? What is it that's troubling you?" Open the door for us so that we can see you. And Asenath said to them from inside, shut in as she was, I have a violent headache and am resting on my bed. And I have no strength left to open to you now, for I am utterly exhausted. But go each of you to her room. And Asenath got up and opened her door quickly and went into her second room where she where her treasure chest, hold on, where five, six, okay. Went into her other room where her treasure chest and the finery of her adornments were, and she opened her wardrobe and took out a black and somber tunic. And this was her mourning tunic, which she had worn for mourning when her eldest brother died. And Asenath took off her royal robe and put on the black one. And she untied her golden girdle and tied a rope around her waist instead. And she took her tiara off and took her tiara off her head and the diadem and the bracelets from her hands. See, if I'd have started before, you'd have saw what she put all this stuff on. But now she's unadorning herself because basically she got carried. Most I checked her in her spirit. She took her best robe, just as it was, and threw it out the window for the poor. And she took all her innumerable gold and silver gods and broke them up into little pieces and threw them out the window for the poor and needy. And Asenath took her royal dinner, even the fatted beast and the fish and the meat and all the sacrifices of her gods and the wine vessels for their libations, and she threw them all out of the window as food for the dogs. And after this, she took the ashes and poured them out on the floor, and she took sackcloth and wrapped it around her waist, and she removed the fillet from her hair, which we learned was some type of little thing that,
Hair tie.
yeah, some type of hair tie from her hair, and sprinkled herself with ashes. She fell down upon the ashes. She beat her breast repeatedly with her two hands and wept bitterly and groaned all night until the morning. And in the morning, Asenath got up and looked, and lo, the ashes underneath her were like mud because of her tears. And again, Asenath fell down on her face upon the ashes until sunset. And so Asenath did for 7 days. And she tasted neither food nor drink.
She fasted for 7 days, bro.
7 days.
A lot happens when you do that.
But she prayed a prayer too.
Yeah, she did.
She prayed a prayer too, right? Now, who knows if she even has ever addressed the Most High Yah prior to this interaction with Joseph.
Probably not.
She was too busy praying to her own gods. You know what I'm saying? Keeping with the traditions of her fathers. See, that's how you know when you have a real life encounter with the Most High Yah or his servant, your shit changes. You will go home and throw stuff away. You'll clean up your mind. You dismiss all this old thinking. Things change. Like you almost uncontrollably. Everything about her didn't change. But in her being, everything that she was spiritually prior to that interaction, I believe changed. And never went back to being the same. You know what I'm saying? It's right there, if you believe what you're reading. She just started throwing stuff out the window. Just getting rid of it. This has no more value to me. This means nothing. This means nothing. What she potentially wanted with Joseph meant more than all of that stuff. But it was the Most High because he prayed and he gave her to Yah to handle. Most High started immediately. It came to pass on the 8th day that Asenath looked up from the floor where she was lying, for she was losing the use of her limbs as a result of her great affliction. And she stretched her hands towards the east, and her eyes looked up to heaven, and she said, O Yah, Elohim of the ages, that didst give to all the breath of life, thou didst bring into the light the things unseen, that has made all things and made visible what is invisible, that has raised up the heaven and founded the earth upon the waters. Thou hast fixed the great stones upon the abyss of water, which shall not be submerged. But to the end they do thy will. O Yah, my Elohim, to thee will I cry, hear my supplication, and unto thee will I make confession of my sins, and unto thee will I reveal my transgressions of thy law. I have sinned, O Yah, I have sinned. I have transgressed thy law and acted impiously, and I have spoken things evil before thee, which he was talking trash about Joseph. My mouth, O Yah, has been defiled by the things offered to idols. My table of the gods of the Egyptians, and by the table of the gods of the Egyptians. I have sinned, O Yah, before thee. I have sinned and acted impiously, worshiping idols, deaf and dumb, and I am not worthy to open my mouth unto thee. Wretch that I am. I have sinned, O Yah, before thee. I, the daughter of Pentephras, the priest. I, the haughty and arrogant Asenath. To thee To thee, O Yah, I present my supplication, and unto thee will I cry. Deliver me from my persecutors, for unto thee have I fled, like a child to his father and his mother. And do thou, O Yah, stretch forth thy hands over me, as a father that loves his children, and is tenderly affectionate. And snatch me from the hand of my enemy. For lo, the wild primeval lion pursues me, and his children are the gods of the Egyptians that I have abandoned and destroyed, and their father, the devil, is trying to devour me. But do thou, O Yah, deliver me from his hands, and rescue me from his mouth, lest he snatch me like a wolf and tear me, and cast me into the abyss of fire, and into the tempest of the sea, and let not the great sea monster swallow me. Save me, O Yah, deserted as I am, for my father and mother denied me, because I destroyed and shattered their gods. And I have no other hope save in thee, O Yah, for thou art the father of the orphans and the champion of the persecuted, and the help of them that are oppressed. And that's what the Most High do. And it goes on. I mean, that's the end of the prayer. But
It changed her.
it changed her. That interaction changed her. Had a life-altering effect. And clearly it was 7 days this was going on. Clearly her peoples was beefing because she destroyed them gods. You hear that in the prayer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't really see that take place. But I mean, they probably thought she lost her mind.
Yeah, they went back to their little country estate.
They did. They rolled out.
Then they came back, saw she had changed, and they rejoiced because before they left, they thought that she wasn't going to do it. But Joseph, just like you said, man of integrity, man of Yah, said that prayer because he was tenderhearted towards her tears, and the Most High moved on account of what Joseph prayed, man.
As he had already intended to do.
Yeah, there you go.
As he had already intended to do. He knew because he had the daddy say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The man and God coming. We want y'all to be together. Mm-hmm. You know, and you see Pharaoh, his son, in the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? Said something about he want her, and she's like, "Hold up, man." Pharaoh like, "Man, we already got somebody set aside for you.
Yeah,
Why you want her?
She's below you."
And she's below you. So clearly up front, the king's son already had his eye on her, but the Most High had already had her set aside for Joseph.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? That was his plan, and he put that in Pop's head, Pentephus. You know what I'm saying? That's something the Most High. And Joseph wasn't for it, and neither was she in the beginning. But
right.
the Most High used Pentephus to speak it. Now it started cultivating. Once it hit the atmosphere, started permeating things, started getting going. And boom, ultimately Yah's will was done. Even though either of the two parties didn't want it up front.
Yeah, not initially.
They weren't interested. You know what I'm saying? But what the Most High had already determined happened on the back end. And looking at my own life personally, I'm just waiting for him to do what he said he's going to do.
That's it.
Other than that, just buying time, waiting on him to do what he's already determined he's going to do. That's it. Y'all should check these joints out, man. Check these stories out. There's a lot more to the scripture than the 66 books of the Bible. We've said that as this interaction grows, what Most High is showing us, what he's revealing to us in this newly revealed old information, is just painting a bigger, clearer picture of what his intentions are towards his people. That's it. And who ain't his people for real. And it's by choice. You know what I'm saying? But he ultimately knows the choice we're going to make. He said he's going to sit. He's got some of his Azels. Man, you got to read it. Matter of fact, it's only 49 minutes. I think that joint you sent was only like 49 minutes
For
on
Abraham?
YouTube. Yeah. 49 minutes. And if you looking for this information, it goes by like it's nothing. Because you're actually listening. Well, I was pausing and reading it. But at the same time, it's good stuff. And if you're on these lines, if you're along these lines, the Ruach is going to speak to you. That's why I just encourage you to not so much put Yah to the test, but if you have a desire, if you want to know more than what we've been given growing up, or more than what the church holds true as fundamental beliefs, you got to get into this stuff. You got to get into it, man. That's
true.
Man.
True.
That's all I got, bro. Bow your head. Most High Yahweh, thank you for this opportunity to just break bread with you for a little bit. Thank you for allowing your Ruach to be present. I ask that you be with the prayer request that went up in the beginning of the broadcast, y'all. You know what Juice family is going through right now. His mother, Dana, and his cousins, his sister, and his son. I believe he has a daughter as well, but I know he got a son. Blessed him. I pray and ask that you comfort them and assure them that Derek is not so much in a better place, but in a better state of being than what he was previously, moving around in pain and anguish and just constant harassment by demons. Just ease their heart and let them know that you're in control. As you be with Damien, you know what's going on with him in this situation, y'all. Touch his spirit, refresh his being, flush out any impurities that may have crept in to him physically, spiritually, or emotionally, and just touch him and those around him. May this be a wake-up call and a learning experience for all those affiliated with that young man. Be with the Lyles family as well, as I neglected to mention that Tony Lyles passing, I believe it was Saturday as well, y'all. Be with his sons. I believe he has daughters as well. His wife and the rest of the Lyles family, comfort them. You know what the circumstances was behind his death, untimely as it may have been. Things happen. Things happen on the schedule, y'all. It's a scary thought, especially when you feel like your time has come and gone several times, but you keep us around, and I thank you for that. It's kind of difficult to see how others seem to go, and it's just like catches everybody off guard. But not questioning you at all, but I'm asking you just comfort those and be with them, be with Brad's family as well, and the request that went up. Thank you for allowing individuals like my mother and us to overcome their fears of the water. And that means you didn't give us a spirit of fear, so that's just a testament of how they're just learning you more and just letting go of what used to hold them down. I have fears I need to get a grip on, but that's a whole nother type of animal. Be with our siblings. Be with our relationships. Be with our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health, y'all. And prepare us to receive the blessings that you have in store for us. May not be ready for them just yet. We're still in the preparation phase, but I'm thinking in advance of what you're doing. I'm asking you to continue to judge these nations like you said you would, and in preparation to bring us out with great substance. I believe everything you said in the scriptures, y'all, and I know things are going to happen exactly like you said they're going to happen. Thank you for choosing us to be a part of this, be with us going forward. I ask that anything taking place in this studio or outside of the studio that is not of you, that you do not let it be successful, and you shut it down with extreme prejudice. This is my prayer. Yahweh's name. Amen.
Amen. This has been Real Talk. Until the next time we meet, may Yah bless and keep you.
See truth and not the traditions of men.
You can feel it when it's beating steady. It's steady thumping while you breathing heavy. That power muscle keeps that blood flowing. He keeps it going, so we'll get to know him. The son of the father, so many never get to know him. Or accept the only reason he let his blood flow. So many deceptions that we can't seem to understand. But the truth is coming because of Yahweh's master plan. The heartbeat of Yah was there in the beginning. The Alpha, Omega, before we started sinning. He knew us, he formed us, he made us in his image. He synced his heartbeat to ours, and that's why we're still living. The struggle of this life has led us all astray like Cain. But with the choice to serve ourselves, who else can we blame? The two greatest laws are love for God and love for man. But by choosing self over both, we defy his commands. He's loving, he's patient, not willing we should suffer. Repentance, confession, in the name of our big brother. Protection, salvation is all the Father offers. Confusion and damnation is what's reserved for the scoffers. He wants a relationship with you, just let him near. Listen closely to this track, you hear him in your ear. The first beat you feel is an echo coming from his throne. The second one is the proof you're not living life alone.